Halestorm, Vicious, 12 tracks, 43 minutes, the fourth studio album from the American hard rock band, released July 2018 via Atlantic, produced by Nick Braskulinec. 3 singles have been released: Uncomfortable, Black Vultures, and Do Not Disturb. We recently re-reviewed Into the Wildlife from 2015, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes in comparison. Go for it.
Right from the start, this one had me very, very worried. The first verse of the first song, and everything sounds really thin, and I'm like, what the fuck have they done in the studio? And then, like, first chorus kicks in, the guitars come in properly, oh, thank fuck. I was really concerned there for a minute. Everything is okay in the world, folks. They do still pull a few studio tricks, these guys, a little too many than I'd like. They don't take anything away from the songs, but I find they really don't add anything either. All those little sort of electro interludes that just aren't necessary. They're too good a band to be dicking around in that with that stuff, I reckon. It's just, they really shouldn't do it. They said that doesn't take anything away. This is a great sounding album. The guitar sound is bloody fantastic. Heavy as all fuck when they want it to be.
Yep.
They can dial it right up. Lizzie sounds great. Lizzie always sounds great. I love Lizzie. That's what I wrote. This is a bit darker and raunchier than the last couple of albums.
It is,
I find. And I like that a lot. I thought this would be a good album to have relations to. This would really work for me.
Conjugal in prison, or...?
No, with Lizzie.
What buzz and skull?
Yeah, well, you know, maybe your idea of relations and mine are slightly different.
Vicious.
I've only given this like 3 spins so far, but I hazard to say this might be their best album yet.
Oh, wow.
I gave it 9 out of 10. The highlights for me were Uncomfortable, Skulls, Conflicted, and Heart of Novocaine.
Cool.
Oh. There is no filler on this album. You could pick a track at random and release it as a single. Hook-driven, infectious rock and roll with some interesting, well-written and personal lyrics. The track order flows well. The songs seem to flow into each other. It's really well done that way. They've ticked all the boxes with this one. Great songwriting, catchy tunes, rock attitude, great performances, energy, and Lizzie Hale has a fucking amazing voice. Especially in the song Heart of Novocaine, where she scales things down a bit. That's fucking great.
Good track.
Great sounding release as well. The production is spot on. Every member has their chance to shine, and these songs would sound great live. I reckon this band is on fire at the moment. If you need further proof that rock is far from dead, you need to listen to this album. There's just enough rock attitude and pop accessibility for this album to appeal to a lot of different people. If somebody needed an album to get them into rock and roll, I reckon this would be the one to do it.
Okay.
9 out of 10. I picked Skulls, Do Not Disturb, Buzz, Heart of Novocaine, Conflicted, and Vicious.
There you go.
Nice.
So we were talking not too long ago about, you know, once all the big bands die out, who's going to be leading the next act sort of thing.
Yep.
A band that we name-checked a few weeks ago on the show was Ghost.
Yep.
But Halestorm's right there in that conversation for me, and have been for quite a while now. Look, their modus operandi is pretty straightforward. It's slick, well-produced, major label hard rock. Massive stomping riffs and choruses that will make the bloody World Health Organization make them bloody label them as a disease that's so catchy. But they're great. The thing is, this album is a continuation from what they've done, but they've also introduced some newer elements into it. For example, you mentioned it before, the Heart of Novocaine, that ballad, that's a standout, and it's very rare for me to say a ballad is a standout on an album. Lizzie sounds on fire on this album as well. She's just all over the place. She's sounding great. And I reckon that's down to the new producer on it as well, Nick
Braskulinec.
Nick R. Yeah, look, it's just it's great. I mean, there's tracks like Killing Ourselves to Live, that ballad I mentioned, Heart of Novocaine, and there's also, then it goes from that to something like, you know, furious songs like Uncomfortable and Vicious, and Do Not Disturb is probably the most sexual song you'll be hearing this year. So I know what you're saying about relations. Yep.
It's not new territory for them. I find you is fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah. But they do it so well. But the things that keep it interesting, it's so. If I was going to compare Halestorm to anything, it's like AC/DC. You know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get. There's not going to be any surprises, and you're most likely going to enjoy it. Just a great album. Look, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. The only thing I could have made it would have pushed it up a bit if there was probably a bit longer. I thought it was just a bit on the short side for me, or maybe that's because I enjoyed it so much. I don't know, but I did find myself hitting repeat on this a couple of times. So great album for me, 8.5 for me.
Cool. Well, I wasn't as sold on the previous album, Into the Wildlife, as opposed to earlier releases than that. I thought that was a different step from the take, with a bit more of the 80s and pop sort of side coming into the music. This one feels like a much stronger return to their roots, a little less experimental than the previous release. But they still kept some of that work and incorporated it into this one, but it feels more organic this time around to me. The mix is pretty good. I would like the guitars to match it a bit more with the drums and the vocals. I get why they've done it, so it's not a big deal. It just feels make this album bigger without going into the loudness war territory. If they'd just push the guitars just a little bit more. That said, the tones and the layering are pretty damn well done. It's a good mix. Everything is nice and clear, not too compressed, some nice depth and space. It works well either soft or loud, but you want to play this one loud. The writing is much more in line with the earlier works. They managed to get the hooks down really well. It's very well done in that regard. And it's a well thought out track order, good diversity, well put together. It all fits nicely. Some solid lyrics on here. Lizzie's force and emotive weight can be felt through this. She doesn't seem to explore her vocal range these days as much as she used to, as a general rule, but she is one hell of a vocalist and wonderfully powerful. My God, what a voice she has. If you want a flag bearer for women in rock today, I reckon she's the one. Really empowering, I reckon, as well. She doesn't take any prisoners in any regard, lyrically or performance-wise. She will just go there, and it's fantastic. There are some damn cool and chunky riffs on this. This will be solid as fuck live, I reckon. The drumming and the whole rhythm section make this thing pump. And I love the ballad that you guys are talking about as well. Just after the middle of the album, a beautiful song, but if anything, it also shows them talking about with the guitars being back a bit, because while it's a more acoustic track, it also shows that the vocal is well in front of the guitar, and that was another trick they missed, where they could have just blended them a little bit better. But the really cool thing about this is how it's a natural evolution and combination of all their previous works put together. Lizzie has gone on record saying that she feels like this is the first time you get to hear all four corners of Halestorm in the one album, and I reckon she's right. This is the first time they've really gone into all the territory of the band. Not many guitar solos, so to speak, but this isn't the kind of music that requires guitar solos. And closing with another acoustic track was a nice touch as well. They really do tell some stories in their songs, especially in those ones. And those acoustic moments will also fit nicely into a longer live set. I reckon, for me, this feels like a band evolving into a genuine stadium act now. Like you were saying about Ghost and how these guys should be in that conversation for who's going to headline festivals for the next sort of decade. Halestorm certainly are, and their catalogue now is extensive enough, and the songs on all their records combined would make one hell of a... Can you imagine this? Like, you could sit through 2.5 hours of these guys comfortably with their catalogue of music between the EPs and the albums they've got. They have got some great stuff. It's a really solid album that you can really feel will help the band become more of a household name than they already are. They really should be, but hopefully it pushes them further. Gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Skulls, Conflicted White Dress and Heart of Novocaine as my standouts. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think.